Another point we want to make is that, within the change process, now many of these techniques and so forth are a little bit different than what we went through as a learner or, how we've been trained and so forth. And so one of the things we want to do is we want to encourage everybody to have what we call a growth mindset, meaning we preach to students that, learning is a process. They go through a process in order to get from a novice person to a more mastery built person as far as their learning and with the depth of their learning and so forth. And we realize that as an educator is that we're designing units so that we take them from the beginning to mastery of a topic or skill set and what have you. Well, that's the same thing that we're doing here for you as a teacher is that or as a principal, we don't expect people to instantly know what to do and how to do it. But what we're trying to do is get you to understand that in order to be most innovative, to create value in this world, the world is constantly evolving. And we have to be able to have the mindset to evolve with it. And I think that's what the growth mindset really talks about is that we can look at, two people can look at a situation or problem differently. They can either look at it as a problem that is something that they can't get around, or people look at it as an opportunity to try and figure it out. And we encourage you to have what we call a growth mindset, meaning things may be new, things may be a little bit different than what you're used to, but we try and keep it as simple as possible. We use what we call 1% adoption approach, and meaning that we work on changing a little bit every single day in order to have a greater outcome at the end. And I think that if everybody comes together and works in a 1% way in which we work at our systems in order to get it, can consistently try to get it right, then you'll pretty soon you'll understand that what creates value and what doesn't create value in their system. And then that growth that you make from the beginning of your journey where you maybe didn't have a solution to suddenly have a number of solutions is the growth that you make, and that growth mindset allows it to happen. And so people ask me all the time, how did you get your staff to buy in? Is that, many of our staff adopted what we call a growth mindset. They were willing to learn. They were willing to learn along the way. And it's similar to what we do with students all the time is we understand there's a beginning point of your learning, and then there's maybe a milestones along the way that we measure, but then eventually you go through so many iterations and you become really good in actually mastering a certain process or technique, and then we even create value for others around that mastery. And so this is a learning journey, not only for your students, but also for you. And we ask that you kind of adopt that growth mindset where you're open to new ideas, open to changing things, on a 1% rate, which you little by little tweaking it here and there. It's not a big overhaul of your practice. You're actually working with your current practices that you do today, and you're changing them to see if you can get a better result, which is the growth mindset. And then if you do encompass problems, then you look for tools and solutions that will actually create value around solving that problem. And so, and that's what the flipped classroom actually did for us, is that we had students who couldn't do homework. They were their homes weren't fit for the homework. So we said, what type of process can we create around our current practices that give us better value and support, not only for our students, but for ourselves as well. And so we can only do that with what we call a growth mindset. And so that's what we encourage you to do. That's what we encourage you to, have. And, so let your practice grow, let your mind grow, and let the opportunity come to you as you move forward in our process.